In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. I actually have a short look at, pages 212, 1213 in order to go to 214, which luckily is an example from Arabic. Okay, well, going to page 212, there's something like the last paragraph of page 212 below 54. So which has a meaningless dummy there. Actually, dummy there is present in languages like English, okay, where there is non-pro-drop, meaning that they are not null subject languages. Okay, they are not null subject. Well, they are not null subject languages. Languages that are null subject languages like Arabic do not have these elements. If they do, they are not possible in all situations, as we see on the next page. Well, we go to page 50. We repeat what I said on the previous discussion, that in languages that are non-pro-drop actually do not have it at the beginning of a sentence like 52. They appear to be something like 53, like إنها تمطر, okay, without إنها, okay, it's like this. And there's something like that. So these elements like this is tied in the affairs of men which taken at the flood leads on the fortune. Well, this there does not appear at the beginning. The sentence is a big sentence. We don't want to say something like this. So the languages do not have something like there. So there is a book on the table. There's a book on the table. In English, we have the word there, but in languages without, like Farsi, they do not have the word there in Farsi at all. Why? Because they are pro-drop. So it's like this. Anyway, so in 55, again, you see, we say, once upon a time, there were 3 bears. Okay? This there is, again, dummy. Okay? Dummy. Meaningless. Okay? Or it's time for bed. What does this et mean? Nothing. Okay? In Arabic and in Farsi, we do not have this et. Okay? Anyway, if you actually go to page 214, luckily there's a good example from Arabic language, exercise 5.4. Let us see. Exercise 5.4 says something like this. Here are some sentences of Arabic with their English literal translation. Luckily, you are Arab speakers. From these, number one. From these, one. Is Arabic a pro-drop or a non-pro-drop language? You are going to say a pro-drop or non-pro-drop. Or number two, would this evidence be sufficient for the child to acquire the right pro-drop setting for the Arabic? Let us see. I suppose these examples are not, because my informants of Arabic language told me, actually, we have Arab students in Khuzestan province in Iran, around Ahwaz, okay, around Ubadan, around Muhammad in Iran. Well, actually, these are the Arabic names. We actually call them as Ahwaz, not Ahwaz. And we call them Khurram Shahr, and for Muhammad, and Abadan for Abadan. Okay. Well, in these places we have Arabic spoken there in Iran. Back here to, in fact, the exact exercises here. Number 1 says something like هو في الحجرة الأخرى. هو في الحجرة الأخرى. Okay, it is Arabic, maybe Egyptian, I don't know, no idea, maybe it is Egyptian. And number 2 says هناك تفحة. Okay, تفحة في المطبخ. Okay, well, تفاحة في الفصحى is like this, تفحة in this, in fact, لهجة. Number 3 says هي فرنسية. Okay, number 4 says إنها تمطر. Okay, 5 says, look at here, we do not have it here, something like it here. راح البيت. Okay, maybe it is beat, like maybe Syrian, but I don't have any idea about it, because maybe it is maybe another lahja. Number 6, من الصعب أن تغني. Okay, the way it is written. من الصعب أن تغني. Okay, again it is من الصعب, maybe. Yes, I suppose it is something. من الصعب. Well, actually, when there is something like an apostrophe in English, they say it is a or hamza or ayn. So it is من الصعب أن تغني. Okay. And 7 says something like هناك أناس في الحديقة تنا. Okay, and number 5, well, actually these are different from Fusha, which I actually partially speak. Number 8, بد تفيحة. Okay, تفيحة. Okay, yes, تفاحة. Well, we have تفاح there, and number تحفة. Well, number 2 was تفاحة. Well, تفاحة, apple. Here appears to be تفيحة. Well, I don't know why there's a difference between number 8 and number 2 with the word تفاحة. Okay. Well, number 9, سيذهبون إلى السينما. سيذهبون إلى السينما. Well, actually, when you look at these sentences, well, you come to the conclusion that Arabic is a prodrop. Of course, it's a partial prodrop, as actually expressed by Al-Najadat 2007. Al-Najadat 2007. Okay, so this writer, this in fact author, believes that Arabic is a prodrop, but Farsi is not a partial prodrop, a full prodrop language. So why? Simply because there is something like number 5, there is not something like it or there. And number 9, there is not something like it and there for number 9. But there is something like number 2 and number 7 when we say هناك. هناك is something like there in English. Okay, that's why maybe they come to the writer Al-Najadat, come to the conclusion. Maybe, I don't know, this is something like a lahja from maybe a person called from Najd, maybe, I don't know. Well, anyway, so هناك number 2 and هناك number 7 come to the conclusion that maybe Arabic is somehow in between a partial pro-drop language between, let's say, pro-drop and non-pro-drop languages. So the child is going to develop to be partial pro-drop for Arabic. So I'm done with this discussion and everything is fine, and I'm going to leave the discussion for this week. Thank you very much.